Hello, it's me here once again with another video, and before we get into the video, be sure to like, comment, favorite, subscribe, click the little bell down below if you're new, just passing through. Be sure to leave a like, share it with your friends. If any of your friends are big Uriah Heep fans, share it with them. But anyway, today we're going to be looking at Firefly, the first album not to feature David Byer on vocals. Now, when you have to replace a huge member of your band, like your singer, there is one way you can go. You can either try and replace them with somebody very similar, or you can kind of go off and replace them with somebody just a little different. Now, I know Mick Box has said that in replacing Byron, they interviewed a lot of guys, and I think most notably David Coverdale at that time, and they really hoped to get him in the band. I think if he would have joined the band, it would have been a great thing for him. But he turned him down, and so did pretty much everybody else except Lucifer's friends, John Lawton, who I absolutely love as a singer. If he would have been... I think if he would have gotten a little bit better stuff in here to work, he could have been considered one of the great vocalists of the 70s. Great blues rock vocalist. Love him in Lucifer's Friend. Just amazing to listen to. And in documentary said he really embraced the material. Like, really did. And also, this is the first album to feature Trevor Boulder, who came over from, did work with David Bowie on Iggy Stardust, and joined the band as well. Now, the members are John Lawton, Mick Box, Ken Hensley, Trevor Boulder, and Lee Kerslake at this time. And this is kind of more, I'd say, if you're looking at it, just a more stripped down Uriah Heep album compared to it. And it's kind of sad because at moments you hear stuff, but it's kind of where I wish they would have maybe went back to that really heavy organ driving sound. But anyway, let's get into the album. Starts off with a hanging tree. I love the intro. Great intro. John Lawton has a lot more of a blues rock singer than David Byron was. I love the lyrics and vocals, the twin guitars, and I like how the song fades. Just a good song. Been Away Too Long is the next song off the album. I like the intro, like the guitars, soft vocals, love the vocals with Mick Box's wah solo, and I just love Lee Kerslake's drumming, how it's very featured heavily on this album. Song number 3 is Who Needs Me. It's a guitar and drum driven intro. I love the background vocals, very upbeat blues rock solo by Mick Box, and a nice bass by Trevor. Song number 4 is maybe one of their first hits off the album, Wiseman. Has a soft organ intro. I love the ooze by John Lawton as he's singing this entire song, or the intro. Feels like a soul song, like something that David Byron would be singing soul to. Love Lawton's vocals, catchy chorus. Love how the song builds into a chorus and then... But however, the song really, to me, needed a Mick Box guitar solo. Song number 5, Do You Know? It's a fast-paced intro with organ, blues rock sounding, catchy chorus. I love the solo. Feels kind of like filler, the entire album. Number 6 is Rollin' On. Organ and guitar intro. Love the vocals, bluesy sounding. Love the chorus. Love the tempo change into the guitar solo. Love the bass and drums underneath. Find myself singing along to it. And prior to Limp Bizkit, it was Rollin', 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 Rollin' On. Just good stuff. Song number 7 is Sympathy. Nice guitar intro. Nice bass into vocals and the Byron scream. You hear John Lawton scream on it. It's a foot tapping song, twin guitar attack. That's really all I had to write about. It's just a good song in general. On to song number 8. The final song on the album is Firefly, sung by Hensley. Nice keyboard intro. I love the chorus. Very soulful sounding. Guitar picks it up at times. Like, it starts off very slow, and then it gets into the guitar. Nice bass and drums. I love the guitar solo. It sounds soaring. Like the tempo change. Gives it a dreamy sound to it. And some nice keyboards by Ken Hensley. Now, for me, coming off listening to this album, it is different. It's not a bad album. It's pretty good. Like, listening to it, it's solid. It kind of stripped him down musically even more, if that was possible. But anyway, best song off the album was The Hanging Tree. Hidden gem for me was Rolling On. I just really like that song. Now, listening to this going into the future, you can tell Uriah Heep is kind of... This was a good album to replace Byron with. Really showed off this. John Lawton very well. But you look at it, and it still feels like the band is kind of in a what do we do? Now, in this album, they brought back Jerry Braun to produce it, and I'm just going to go into my little rant. Once you release a guy, once you don't work with a guy, and I don't know what it is, if they felt kind of bad about it, but Jerry Braun, to me, Uriah Heep needed a new voice in the studio. Very much so. Just tell them, hey guys, like, this isn't working. You need to do something different, or even go back to your old sound. You just need some new ears. And I remember hearing stuff in documentaries, like they'd be recording an album, they'd look in on the studio, and there's Jerry Braun just reading a magazine. Like, he was mentally checked out with the band. Like, I think this idea of, well, we'll go back to Old Reliable was kind of the worst thing they did. They should have actually went out and sought out a new producer. If you're going to say you're going to change, you're going to bring in new members and be different, you have to give a different feel to it. And this felt so much like the previous albums that it didn't really feel different. The only difference was the guy singing it, and his vocal delivery was different. That was it. Like, I'm not a fan of just being like, oh, hey, I've just produced every record. Like, Pink Floyd never had the same producer throughout their entire career. I believe Led Zeppelin didn't. Like, a lot of big bands, Tom Petty didn't even have the same producer throughout his entire career. So, this whole sticking with Jerry Braun, I don't know if this was a Ken Hensley power play, was to keep him around, because listening to a documentary I seen, he was very favorable of Ken Hensley, but every other member in Uriah Heep was never as good as Ken Hensley type stuff. It was kind of weird. But anyway, what would I give this album out of 5? I'd give it a 3.5 out of 5. It's slightly better. It's probably on the Return to Fantasy type feel to it. It's probably a little better than the last album, High and Mighty. But anyway, that's my thoughts and opinions on Firefly. I think it is an album to buy. It's really... I like it. I love John Lawton singing throughout his entire career. So anyway, that's my thoughts and opinions. Once again, be sure to like, comment, favorite, subscribe. Peace.